This is the Practical Homeopathy Podcast, episode number 162 with Joette Calabrese.
Hi, I'm Joette Calabrese, and I welcome you to our healthcare movement, yours, mine, and the countless men and women across the globe who have retaken control of their family's health with practical homeopathy. So, for the next few minutes, let's link our arms as I demystify homeopathy, what was once considered an esoteric paradigm, into an understandable, reproducible, safe, and effective healthcare solution available to all. This is the medicine you've been searching for, my unique brand of homeopathy, practical homeopathy.
Welcome back to the Practical Homeopathy Podcast with Joette Calabrese. I'm your co-host, Kate. If you are looking for ways to remember which homeopathic medicines address specific conditions, today's podcast is for you. Joette, our Practical Homeopathy founder and trusted expert, will share her insights to do just that. But before we jump in, I want to welcome you, our listeners. You're in the right place today if your goal is to become a confident, capable healer in your own family. Or maybe you're just learning about homeopathy and you wonder if this could help you or maybe someone that you know. This is the place for you too. And this podcast is just one of the many resources Joette offers to help you wherever you are on your journey. But let's get started with today's podcast. Joette, give us an overview of the topic of our discussion today. It's a good one.
Okay, so let's start with homeopathy being an academic pursuit. But it's much more than that. And I'm going to give you some insight into that today. The way most people remember remedies, learning the materia medica, is by taking cases and observing their successes by using homeopathy. I guarantee pretty much you'll likely never forget when you helped that little girl down the street with hives by using, say, urtica urens and seeing a big shift. You'll never forget the remedy you used when it helped your husband with that horrible pain after that fall. You might forget the medicine that helped you with your cough. But when it's touching you on an emotional level, like when you're helping a family member or a friend or a pet or even an animal from the wild, it's more likely you'll not forget it. So let me give you an example. Let's say a bird flew into your window. And this has happened to me a couple of times. And I'll never forget the combination of the medicines that I used. The first one I thought of course, was Arnica, because the bird, being that it flew into the window, hit its head. Arnica is one of our best medicines for a head injury. Now, I did not know whether or not the bird was in pain. And you might not know this either. But we do know that there was a head injury. And one time when we had a bird that flew into our window, I gave it symphytum with calc phos as a combination. And I did that because the bird's head was cocked to one side. And I assumed that there might have been an injury to the spine or to the neck or etc. So I made that connection, not sure of it, of course, but certainly we knew Arnica. And then I added symphytum plus calc phos. But did you know that Arnica has so many other uses? It is one of our most sweeping homeopathic medicines. And there are many medicines like this in our materia medica, but Arnica, because it is such a well-known medicine, ought to strongly be considered for many other conditions as well. For example, Arnica is a great remedy for insomnia, for sleeplessness. I learned that from my own mother who started to use it. She knew only the name of the medicine Arnica when I first started learning homeopathy myself. And she just remembered the name. And a couple of nights she had some insomnia and took Arnica and it worked. And that was news to me. This was back in the 80s. But it can also be used for jet lag.
Joette, that's very interesting. I know that you have talked about some of the surprising uses of Arnica. It is a very sweeping homeopathic medicine, but give us some examples of those surprising uses that people may not think about.
Yeah, Arnica has been used for Joe Pathy's case, Joe de la Vera. He believed it brought him longevity. Well into his 90s he lived, and he took Arnica daily. Now, he has a specific way of doing it. He put it in water, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a whole method in the way that he used it. And he took a dose of it daily. He believed it was the longevity remedy. But it's also used for vascular issues, which perhaps could be what contributed to his longevity, because that is an issue, vascular issues and cardiological issues. But it is one of our best medicines for vascular issues, such as spider veins and even varicose veins that are more prominent. And of course, do I need to go into trauma? We already did that. That is very important, not only just head injuries, but also soft tissue injuries, such as an injury to the thigh or to the arms, or a broken bone. It's one of our best medicines for that, either recent or remote. And it can also be useful, including tumors formed in an area after trauma.
I find that so fascinating, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So in Robin Murphy's Nature's Materia Medica and his tome on the use of homeopathic medicines for so many conditions, this is a quote. He says, tumors in many parts following injury have been cured by Arnica, including serous tumors of the breast. So it can be used as a medicine, for example, after a mammogram that caused an injury to the breast. So how do we know there's an injury to the breast? Because there's pain, or there's swelling, or something like that that leads us to believe that there's been injury to the breast. Arnica is also a great remedy for hemorrhoids. It's also a great remedy during labor and postpartum, and before and after an athletic event. I know skiers, professional skiers, who have used Arnica montana. And when I've worked with professional hockey players, we've used Arnica montana after their injuries from their athletic pursuits. And we've used it for football players and those who are injured, even if it's only a minor injury. And instead, all that remains is, after a rigorous game, is just the feeling of being beaten up, because essentially that's what athletic events often include. But how about for just someone who's overusing their muscles or joints? Someone maybe who is elderly and has overused their muscles by going to the gym with too much zeal their first week, and they're feeling achy and overuse of their muscles and joints and bones, etc., and feeling that sense of being beat up. How about for gout? It's one of our great remedies for gout. But let's not forget Arnica montana for bed sores, or even whooping cough. This keeps going. I'm going to name some more because this is so extensive. This medicine is so valuable on so many different levels. It's also used for blood sugar issues. Joe DeLivera, Joepathy, often used Arnica montana in his very special Joepathy way in water for diabetes. And then we've also considered it for ailments from stroke or during a stroke. And then there are also taste disorders. And these are some more interesting, unusual issues that could come up that could verify the use of, or shore up the argument for the use of Arnica. And also Joe DeLivera, Joepathy, used Arnica for hair growth. User, who, by the way, was a referenced homeopathic practitioner of the 19th and early 20th century, he actually contributed to the clinical information on certain homeopathic remedies in his practice. He noted that the local use of Arnica, meaning local, directly on the skin, on the scalp, produced an extraordinary growth of hair on the area that's in question, produced an extraordinary growth of hair on a limb. And this suggested the use of perhaps an oil mixed with Arnica 1X in a case of baldness, which was followed with marked success. End of quote. Rather interesting. And so let's also consider Joepathy's method of using Arnica locally on the scalp in liquid form. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not giving the exact formula, but I want to give you these ideas of how Arnica can be used in so many different ways.
Great. Those are very interesting and things that you wouldn't normally think of, but maybe it's something you want to look into as you have time. I want to get back, Joette, to learning how to use homeopathic medicines and how we can remember what conditions might be addressed by what medicines.
Yeah, learning about homeopathic medicines is great, but this is more than just studying them and committing them to memory, such as the symptoms for this particular, that particular condition. It's different. It's making this a part of every fiber of your life. By doing so, then you can save someone's life or you can soften the suffering that someone is experiencing. So I will never forget how quickly my mother responded when she was having a stroke, and we used aconitum. And I also used Arnica at that moment as well. And I will never forget the look on her face. I'll never forget also how stramonium helped relieve night terrors for my young son. And think about it right now. Think about the stories that you may have that are in your arsenal. And the reason that you remember the medicine is because you have a story associated with it. That's how we learn our medicines, my friends. It doesn't mean that we don't study, but this is what concretizes our knowledge of the medicines. This is what really holds it into our memory. But ask me what remedy my husband gave me when I was very sick with relentless vomiting, and I don't remember, to be honest. I know what the medicine is that I would use for someone else, but I don't remember what he gave me because I was too sick to remember it. So when you are giving of yourself and helping someone else, the little bird that flew into the glass, the mother who was having a vascular event, the husband who had an injury and had extreme pain, that act is bigger than you. And now you will remember that because it's not only emotionally attached to the suffering of someone that you're caring for, but your memory will remain most likely very much intact.
So Joette, some of us may have those stories already, and some of us may not. Give us the upshot and how we can use this information to help us remember our medicines.
Well, the upshot is take care of your family and take care of those around you, those you love. Take cases, take care of your family, and you'll get good at this. That's what's missing for people who don't take homeopathy seriously. It hasn't stirred them deeply enough yet.
Yeah, once you see the life-changing power of homeopathy, like I have with my daughter when anaphylaxis, right? That will never leave my mind. That use of APIS in that situation, I will never forget that. So after that, then you begin to incorporate that into your lifestyle. You see someone else that has anaphylaxis. Now I know what to do.
Yep. Anything in life that's unfavorable or traumatic is an opportunity to grow. In fact, those who live lives that don't have suffering don't have the chance to climb the mountain because it's in the climbing of the mountain that all the good comes. I argue that that's how you become a good homeopath. It's about climbing one mountain after another. It's my honor to share many lessons on this simple method of using homeopathy for free without affiliates or advertising here in my podcasts, but also my blog posts and Monday night lives. But it's critical that you learn how to use these medicines properly. These podcasts should serve as only the beginning of your training. Peruse joetteslearningcenter.com to find fun study group opportunities and in-depth courses developed by subject. So with the proper training, you can join the thousands of students before you in developing the confidence and competence to protect the health of your family and loved ones with my brand of homeopathy, Practical Homeopathy.
You just listened to a podcast from internationally acclaimed homeopath, public speaker, and author, the founder of the Academy of Practical Homeopathy, Joette Calabrese. Joette's podcasts are available on all your favorite podcast apps. To learn more and find out if homeopathy is a good fit for your health strategy, visit practicalhomeopathy.com.